What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Safe Room. I am your host, Sean Williams. I ate my Mickey D's. I got my water right here on standby. And we're going to be talking a little bit of music. It's late at night, but honestly, we're just rocking with it. Welcome back to the podcast. If you are a returning listener, you're catching me on a good time talking about music. It's been a while since I talk about music on the podcast, to be honest. Like, I think the last time I did a dedicated episode to music was last year, which is way too long. I need to do more. I need to pick up the pace and everything. But, we're looking to do more. If you are a new listener, welcome to the Safe Room. Like I mentioned, I am your host every single week, Sean Williams. It ain't changing. It ain't going to stop. All right? So get used to this space, okay? Well, if you're watching on Spotify, you get used to this space. But if not, you'll probably see my face sooner or later, probably in person. Who knows? Maybe you're a fan and I see you in person. You can hail me up, be like, hey, yo, what's up, Sean? Hey, love the podcast. Appreciate the support. I'm always looking for the support. I'm always looking for people to just keep pushing me in what I do because I love podcasting. I love the passion. But anyway, this episode is just going to be me chilling, talking about music. And I say chilling, but to be very honest, I'm probably going to go on a rant. And, it's okay, but we're gonna talk about a few things, and for people who don't know, I have a little name, I guess title for these types of episodes when releasing music called Playback. So, like I said, if you want to check out any other past episodes I've done for Playback, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, any other podcast platform, and go back, look at the archives, and I've done episodes before. I've actually done one with another podcast. Shout out to Let's Stop Big Things. So, yeah, trying to do more of these. So, what exactly are we going to talk about for music? I'm going to try to be very quiet because my parents are downstairs, my dad's sleeping and everything, so I want to be cautious. But we are going to talk about probably the most talked about album right now, and that is Kendrick Lamar's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. It dropped last week. I took a good listen. I listened to the album like 3 times, top to bottom, because I really wanted to understand and get a good grasp about what Kendrick was trying to, interpret, what he was trying to get across, what was the overall message. And I'm just going to give a review. I'm going to give I'm going to stress again, my honest reaction, okay? So please, don't come at me about, oh, yo, Sean, what do you mean you think this is good? How it's just that, or you didn't like this track. Listen, I want to let the record straight. I like Kendrick. I really like Kendrick. I think he's one of the best rappers of the generation. Clearly, he's the future GOAT and everything. We get that. But I am not one of these KDot stands that I'm chomping at the bit, where's Kendrick? This and that. Yes, his last album was in 2017. Be honest, I wasn't really pushing for him to drop this year. If he didn't drop this year again, I'm okay, whatever. Because I'm you know what? There's probably stuff that he's going through that we don't know. And, that's kind of one of the big things about his new album, which we're going to get into in a bit. So, again, I wasn't as, anxious or so, stoic about, oh, my God, I need an album now. It's just, no. So when he dropped it, it was cool. Give my honest reaction over some of my favorite tracks as well. Maybe some of my favorite tracks are your favorite track. Maybe we think completely different. So, we'll have to see. And we're going to talk about the Billboard Awards as well. That just happened a couple nights ago. But on the same night, the Billboard Awards, which, to be honest, I didn't even know was happening on that night. I thought that was saving for another week later, probably in June, was the Juno Awards. And we're definitely going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some of the performances, some of the winners, just give some shout outs to specific individuals that, I know them just off of social media. They probably don't know who the heck I am, but I'm going to give them their flowers anyway. I'm going to give them their flowers regardless. So it should be a fun episode. Probably a very quiet episode again because, I don't want to disturb anyone in my household. But just let it be known. So let's get straight right into it. So Kendrick Lamar. Kung Fu Kenny, KDot, King Kunzo, whatever you want to call this man. He dropped this album last week, Mr. Morale, The Big Steppers. And again, to give my initial reaction, I was very I want to say excited. I was also curious because I'm okay, it's been 5 years. What the heck is this man going to talk about? Now, from my perspective, when I saw the name of the album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, I don't know why, but my initial reaction thought he's gonna have like a live band playing his music, or like the instrumentals, everything coming together. The production was gonna be like live instruments and stuff like that. It was not that. It was completely different tone, different setting, and that's okay. I'm okay with that, and it's fine. But I was excited, very curious what he was going to do, what he was going to say after 5 years, because again, people wanted to know where has he been, why he hasn't dropped albums like within previous years. Some people thought it would be in 2020 and it wasn't, and people swore it was last year, like 2021, and nope, and then 2022. Some people still believe, others were kind of slightly losing hope, and then he made the announcement saying he will drop it, and then people went nuts. People went nuts. Again, I stayed calm because again I just saw it as okay, cool. So let me just break down what my process was. So it was Friday around the afternoon time, and I pulled up the track list, and I believe it was like a double album, because that was some of the rumors he was going to do a double album, and it was. So it was 18 tracks, 9 tracks for each side, and I did make a video last week near the end of the conversation, because we did talk about the politics happening in Canada, but I also mentioned about KDot's album in terms of the feature. I was right about one feature, Baby Key, because I feel like that was a given. I said Tyler the Creator, and he didn't show up. Kind of made me sad, because I think there was one track that I felt he really could have had such a huge contribution to. And some of the features, obviously were probably people he knows very close to, and like those features like stood out. Like Taylor Page with "We Cry Together," wonderful, stellar performance. And there's some I was completely shocked. I would never have guessed that Blast would be on this album. Like completely. I did not think that. Like that shocked me. And I was like, wow, like if Kendrick is getting Blast, then like like he's up next. And I'm telling you guys, before we even move on, go listen to Blast's new album before you go. I really enjoyed it for what it was. Had some good hits. This is album of the year, probably not to me. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it again. It's up there, but I wouldn't say it's album of the year. Yeah, I feel like there's a couple of albums I've heard so far this year I would like take over it, and that's just me. That's just me personally, but still a great album. Go check it out. But yeah, the track list, it was some intriguing tracks. Just looking at the titles and everything, and I was just like, okay, and go like this could be really good, or this could be like, and go south very quickly. So first off, when I listened to it, I was liking a couple of the tracks. As a matter of fact, I really thought to myself, you know what? I like the pace it was going, especially like the opening track, United in Grief. It was different, and obviously it was kind of like Kendrick to a T. So like you felt that old Kendrick in a sense, especially through the instrumentals, how he was playing with the pianos and the keys. Like it was perfect. And then obviously you get deeper into the album. You go to N95. Now, this track, I'm like in the middle. Like it's cool, but at the same time I felt like I don't know. I feel like it's one of those you listen it to a couple of times, you enjoy it, but the more you hear it, you can get annoyed. And like that was me. Like the first time I heard, I was like, okay. And the second time I went back to it, I'm like, okay, this isn't too bad. And then when I heard a lot of people playing it over and over again, whenever I went out and I heard it in the streets, I was just like, okay, this is kind of getting a little annoying. That you out of pocket. I'm just like, okay, we get it, And obviously he made a video for it. The video, I mean, what do you expect? It's a Kendrick Lamar video. You're going to get stunning visuals. You're going to get that, just the deep messages, the deep underlines in between. So there's nothing you can really say about that. But again, I just feel N95 was a cool track. Worldwide Steppers, I could not explain that track. Like for real, I think the premise of that track was that he was calling us out, especially with the opening lyrics, like "I'm a bitch, he's a bitch, she's a bitch," all that stuff. Like he was really going after, how we, deliver ourselves within society, how we treat other people, and just how we are to judge and label certain individuals based on the traits, based on our actions and behaviors. And he was going off on that. I think what really stuck out to me was that he was so potent when he was speaking it. Like he wasn't trying to give too much energy, especially he did that off of like a simple piano chord too. I was like, wow, that was really sophisticated. So kind of like first thirds into it of like side A, I was like, okay, this isn't too bad. I'm actually liking this. And then we get to the Kendrick, Blast, Amanda Reefer, I'm assuming Amanda Reefer track, Die Hard, and it took a different spin. It was a different spin. It focused more on the R&B side. Kendrick being a little more open and passionate. And again, I still feel like he was speaking to his fans, and I think the song Die Hard, it kind of represents again that Die Hard fan, those who were waiting for Kendrick throughout the 5 years, those who were wanting to, be there when you saw the Coles drop and the Drakes drop, or like, was he gonna respond? Like, obviously, I think Blast's part on the chorus where he says like, "I hope I'm not too late to set my demons straight." I mean, obviously, it's deeper than the surface, but at the same time, you can see the connection of like, I hope I didn't stress you guys out too much, but you need to understand I was never going to be able to do what I wanted to do unless I was able to fix myself first and, get all my paths aligned. So, again, it's a cool track. And up to this point, I felt like, the album was looking good. I didn't really have a track at that time that was like, okay, this is it. Until the next track with Sampa, Father Time, that might have to be like the strongest track of the entire album to me, especially the message behind it. Kendrick explained with his daddy issues, and we talk about toxic masculinity, or we talk about fathers and how they play such a prominent role, and mostly we talk about absentee fathers that are not there, and then usually it puts a scar for any black male. So when they grow up, they don't know about those lessons, the way to love, the way to treat people respectfully, and just not always having to put on a metaphorical mask, not having to be aggressive all the time, but know that you can show feelings and it's not a bad thing. Kendrick actually takes it in a different direction, and I actually respect the way he did it because I feel this is something that to those in his situation can understand. It's more of the father's still there, but the lessons that he's teaching you, it's still like, you have to be a man. You have to be tough. You can't be no punk. You cannot be, someone who is inferior in all situations, in all relationships. And again, like, he goes into it so well, just breaking down each layer and being able to comprehend from his perspective. So, like, I really love this track. And then Safa, he just adds a great touch. His vocals are super crisp and everything. So, I mean, I was really rocking it, especially with the the intense from like intensity. That's what I meant to say. The intensity from Kendrick on this as well. Like he wasn't holding back. He wasn't trying to be very like, oh, okay, it's just whatever. No, I'm gonna be discreet and just straight to the point. So I thought that was really good as well. And obviously there were some interludes on there. There was Rich as an interlude, Savior, and those were like transitioned to like other tracks. Rich Spirit. Rich Spirit was really good. I actually enjoyed it. And here's the thing too. Kendrick was also trying to dip into different pockets of like, sound, whether it's like changing his voice. I mean, at first on N95, I thought he was trying to do a Baby Keem impression, but I think that's Baby Keem doing the chorus. I could be wrong. Maybe it is Kendrick, but it kind of, they sound close. They still sound so close to each other that I don't know. But Rich Spirit, again, he's trying to like play with his sound, vocal inflections, and everything. It actually works out. It legit sounds like a DJ Mustard beat. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, it sounds so smooth, and like it's just a vibe. It really is a vibe. I love just the chorus, like, rich nigga, broke phone, trying to keep the balance of staying strong. Stop playing with me before I tell you to a song. Stop playing with me before I tell you to a song. Hey, bitch, I'm attracted. Yo, like that. I don't know what it is, but it works. It just works. It just works. Then we get to We Cry Together. This it left me speechless. Like the way this was orchestrated. Like first off, shout out to Taylor Page on this because I feel like she was the MVP. Like Kendrick did his thing, but she was killing it. Like it literally sounded like they weren't trying to, make it sound like it was scripted, like it was an act. It literally was like Kendrick was probably there in the background and like they were actually arguing, and someone like recorded it and just like, yeah, that's just how it's working. Like she was perfect, and it was basically an argument, and it worked really well. I will say there were some parts where it kind of just went off the rails and everything when they were mentioning stuff like the Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, and all that stuff. And I don't know if that was the purpose of it, but I found it very entertaining. I really liked it. And then the end of side A, Purple Hearts. Now listen, I really like this based off of the instrumental alone. I'm a huge like guy about sound and how an instrumental and how it could paint a picture. So like I'm hearing it, and then I'm hearing the chorus of tippy toeing and I'm up walking, rolling sevens, I ain't ready for no coffin. It's just like I'm literally imagining him like probably maybe on a tour bus, just like or somewhere, and like he's up at night, literally just going around, and like I was feeling it. I was definitely feeling it. Summer Walker, I think she did a good job. Ghostface Killer, listen, I rocks with you. I don't know if he needed to be on the track. That's just me. I felt like it could have done justice with Kendrick and Summer, that alone, but it was cool. So disc A, side A was pretty good. It was a pretty solid start. And then we went to side B, and I felt like this is where things took a turn. This is where things just kind of went from like, okay, cool, to just like, what? Wait, what did you say? Wait, what happened? So it's just, I don't know. Count Me Out. I just wasn't vibing with it. It's not that the track was bad. It's just I never really got into it like that. I really didn't. So it's just, I don't know. It sounded like something it could have been on, Damn, but at the same time, I don't think it would have still fit in that, on that discography. So that's just me. I just wasn't really behind it. I wasn't really getting anything towards it. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me. And then Crown, obviously, Crown had a very specific message. Obviously, speaking on his responsibility in the rap game, his responsibility having to carry the torch, he kind of approaches it in the way just like, look, man, I can't please everybody. Like that's literally what he kind of says in the chorus. I can't please everybody, and I can't always be that individual that's having to, go on these dominant, runs or performances of albums, like from To Pimp a Butterfly to Damn, and even farther than To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, Section 80. Like I can't be doing that, because at the same point, am I doing this because I want to be the best? Because like, don't get me wrong, I want to be the best. Am I doing it because my fans are like, if you don't do this, you suck, you're a failure, and you're not the GOAT. You're not better than Cole. You're not better than Drake. So like, I really like how he spoke on that. I just felt like maybe just the approach musically, again, I felt a little bit disconnected. I didn't really feel what he was saying, because he was trying to be more soulful on it, but again, it didn't come off as like, oh wow, like I feel you. Just kind of like, okay, you're just saying it, but I don't feel it. That's just me. And then we got Silent Hill, and look, the song it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I don't mean that as like it's trash, but bro, I just could not handle him with the chorus and everything. Like, it just got me out of it. And the more I heard it, it's just like, people are going to listen to this because of the chorus alone. That's it. People are only going to care about the chorus. Like, when you have Kendrick on tracks like push these niggas on me like push these bitches on me like it's just, do you even care about the rest? You're just gonna be playing that. That's gonna be on TikTok. Everyone's gonna be jamming. And honestly, that's just what got me. You know what? I'm like, bro, like you don't even need to be doing that. Why are you doing this? Why are you trying to like play with your sound so much? I understand, like, and believe me, I even told myself I would like to hear Kendrick dive into new styles, new sounds, which is cool. But if new sounds meant you're just gonna be a baby Keem, like soundtrack, it's just like, bro, you can miss me with that. You can miss me with that. Um, Kodak Black, he did Pretty Distant too, and I'm really curious why he had Kodak Black because he was not only there for Silent Hill, he was there for the Rich interlude. He was doing some of like the introduction to some tracks. So I'm really interested in what that purpose was. There was a deeper meaning to that. And then we got the Savior interlude, which was from Baby Keem. He killed that. And then we actually get the Savior. And again, kind of is similar to what Crown represents. Like, I'm not like the second coming of Jesus Christ. I'm not someone that's going to be able to save the rap game like that. It's just no. And like he even says in the beginning of the song, talks about like, KDot empower you, but he's not your savior. J. Cole did this, but he's not your savior. He even mentions Future, which I found hilarious because I'm like, you know what? There really be some Future. Y'all Future fans, bro. Y'all be really riding for the man. I know y'all were probably going hype when he dropped I Never Liked You, which I will admit, it's a great album. I actually liked it. I really did. And this is coming from someone who probably never would ever listen to Future 2-3 years ago. So, yeah, it's a great album. But yeah, Savior, again, just speaking similar context wise to Crown. And then comes Auntie's Diary. Ladies and gentlemen, I literally have no words for this. I even if I listen to it again, like I can't explain it. I know what the purpose is, and I don't even want to get into it, but because I don't think I'm the right person to speak on this. But what I will say that it definitely left me like thinking a different way. I was just like, wow, okay, kind of spoke on gender, sexuality. I will say that a little bit of religion as well. I believe so. Again, take it as you please. I thought it was cool, nothing crazy to my ends. Mr. Morale as well. Again, another okay track. Mother I Sober, I thought was really good because that was truly the signifying track for Kendrick where he just let everything out. Just kind of like, you know what? I'm just going to remove all this grief and all this pain out of myself, out of my body and just let it out there. And, it just kind of extends further into the last track of side B Mirror where like the chorus kind of just preaches I chose me, I'm sorry, just like, you know what, I'm kind of done letting these demons and letting people just hold me down, whether it's I owe them something or whether I feel I'm not doing enough for them or just anything else, whether it's for the fans, family related, myself. I'm going to choose me and moving forward, I'm going to be just for me and just care about myself. So I guess you could say that's a good thing. It could be a bad thing because it's like, okay, you're just going to choose yourself and no one else. I mean, you're still not going to rock with your family. I mean, we'll have to see. But yeah, side A I thought was pretty cool. Side B, I kind of got a little, out of tune with it personally. But my overall take, like what was Kendrick's message? I felt like it was deep as it were like a therapy session. It legit felt like Kendrick was in the room. He was talking to a therapist, just letting them out. And there was periods where he was just letting some steam off. And then I find it funny again how the album's called Mr. Morale, the Big Steppers. And I think the Big Steppers represents his demon. Because if you know like the street term for steppers, it's basically someone who would say like, oh, I would ride and die for this. Like, I'm about that life, right? So I definitely see it in a correlation where, to him, he felt like he had those steppers around him and, it was always holding him back because he opens to a lot of things, whether it's like losing family members, dealing with, bad issues with his family, the fan base stressing him out, why, he just didn't want to do anything. I think he even mentioned the part where he caught COVID and everything like that. Like he was speaking on all of this, things that happened with his mother, Daddy Issues, Assault as well. So this album was very personal. It was very personal, and I can respect how he tried to contextualize this into just his own perspective and not letting anyone really break any, sense of, oh, like you should be a little bit more cautious with your wording. You should be more cautious about this. He's like, no, like I'm breaking down all boundaries. It's gonna be just straight to the point. It's gonna be discreet, and it may make people uncomfortable, which I respect. And I love how Kendrick is really a person that sticks behind his word and just doesn't let the music or what anyone says about like changing. It's like, oh, you should probably just be more reserved. So I really appreciate that. Now that I mentioned that, in terms of musical value for this album, I personally think musical value, this may have not been his strongest album because outside of maybe 3 or 4 tracks, there really isn't anything else I would like really listen to on replay value. And just again, I feel like because it was so personal that I just didn't get in tune like that. And not even to even go further, I felt some of the content of it as well. I was just having a hard time to grasp in terms of what he was trying to get to. That was just personally me. Like there were some tracks they're cool. They're just cool. Like I feel like the opening track is cool. I feel like again N95. I kind of got a little bit tired to it. Worldwide Steppers is cool, but I wouldn't really listen to it like all over again. Like there's nothing about Kendrick's delivery on some tracks where I feel okay. You know what? He's taking control of it, and he has a great sound where like I can listen to it over again. I feel like this is one of those stuff where you listen to it maybe a couple times when it drops, and then you just kind of take it for yourself and you just move on. I just don't feel like this is a withstanding album. Like in terms of musical values, I don't think it's better than Damn. I don't think it's better to Pimp a Butterfly. I don't even think it's better than like Good Kid, Mad City, even Section 80. I feel like this is his weakest. And I don't know if he did that by association because he really wanted to, put extra emphasis on like this is a personal album and I'm not trying to please anyone or make a hit. But I feel like there were some tracks on here that had hit potential. And again, not every artist should probably strive to make hits. I mean, there are some artists that do that, but I don't think Kendrick's about that. But I feel like, they could have been really good. Like Worldwide Steppers, like in terms of the message, it's deep. It's deep. And it could have been good. I feel like tracks like Count Me Out, the way the production kind of smooths and slowly, but then gives that gritty, bass line, it could have been something special. But it's just like, even Silent Hill, like, don't even tell me Silent Hill is like a great song. It's a hit. You're here for the chorus. Most likely you're here for the chorus. And like, not to disrespect Kodak or what he did, but that's just how I feel. So musically wise, I just feel like nothing crazy happened from this. Like this might have been his weakest album, and I want people to understand. I am not justifying that this album is trash. Not saying this album is garbage either. All I'm saying is just I probably would not go back to this album, even with the songs I downloaded. I probably would not go back to this album that much. I might listen to it as much as when it drops, but maybe 4 to 5 months from now, I'm probably like not realizing that I had these songs on my album or on my playlist. It's just that's just me. That's just me personally. But in terms of favorites, so usually when I pick my tracks for favorites, I like a couple of tracks, but I really pick the ones that like okay, you know what, I can really listen to it no matter what the time is. Like it's consistent, right? So in terms of that, like I mentioned before, I chose Fodder Time. I think it's the strongest track for me. It's really good. I really enjoy it. Rich Spirit. Again, the vibe about it is just super dope. Purple Hearts. It may not be a strong song. Like to be honest, I don't think it's a strong song. But again, I just the instrumental has done it for me. So when it's like you probably just like one aspect of the song, and that's most for you. Again, I'm a huge like get the right vibe of the room sense type of guy. That's me. That's me personally. Um, and then Savior. So as you can see, a lot from side 8 I enjoy. Side B I felt like again, just didn't really capitalize with me that much. Again, it's not a bad album. Is it a good album? Yes, good album. It's a very personal album, and honestly, I don't even want to rate it as like good or bad. I think just to him, it's just what's your thoughts? Like, what's your biggest takeaway from it? Maybe there's something that he talked about that you learned about. That's just me. Is it album of the year? To me, no, it's not. It's not. I'm not just talking this from a personal opinion. I think if we are to legit look at this with comparing to other albums, I don't think it is. I just don't think it is. All the KDot fans may be coming after me saying, Sean, you are stupid. Sean, you don't know nothing. Sean, you should retire from talking about music on this podcast forever. And you know what? I really don't care. I really don't care. Listen, again, this is my honest opinion. Again, I'm not the crazy Kendrick Lamar stan fan. I love him, but I'll say when I say it. Listen, Chris Brown, that's my guy. But there have been so much times I've been straight up and I said if a Chris Brown album is not good, it's not good. Listen, when he dropped Indigo in 2019, a lot of people rocking with it, was walking with it. I wasn't. I was not. I'm like, first off, the album's way too long. Number two, there were about half a song that were just mid or just forgettable in my opinion. And number three, I just felt like it just didn't tie into something special. You know? Now Chris is dropping an album in June. He dropped a couple songs. Iffy, which I honestly don't like either. But Warm Embrace, if he's bringing that type of vibe on his new album, then okay. But back to Kendrick, again, I'll just call it like it is. That's just me. So, now that's kind of going on Kendrick. We talked about that. Let's switch gears a bit and talk about the Billboard Awards. Now, the Billboard Awards, to be very honest, I don't know when was the last time I watched an award shows, period. Period. Because, like, number one, I don't get enough notifications or announcements online from Shade Room or anyone saying there's an award show. Number two, I think it's just because they don't feel special anymore. Now, if you want to know more about that, I actually did an episode about this on how to fix award shows to give it that level of prestige. So I don't want to give too much, but basically in that episode, I talked about how when you watch an award show, especially back in the day, and maybe it's because when you're young, you kind of feel more into it, and when you get older, you probably don't. But I still feel like it doesn't matter based on age. But back then, anytime you heard the Grammys were on, the AMAs, the BET Awards, the Soul Train Awards, all these award shows were on, you were like, oh, dang, like, this is about to be epic. Like, you have to see all the best artists come together, perform. They're going to have some amazing performances. Nowadays, when I hear about the Grammys, I don't even flinch. I don't even flinch. Like, dude, it has come to the point where anytime I hear about any Big Four award shows, the BET award shows to an extent as well, I just don't care because it's like the performances are just ass. They're just buns. They're boring and like they're nothing special. And then the winners is just like it's a joke. It's a joke. So the reason why I mentioned about this because we're gonna get into it with Billboard. So the Billboard Awards just happened. I believe it was May 15th, a Sunday, somewhere around there. I think. So basically what happened was, some people are saying it's a decent show. I didn't watch it. I looked at the performances. There were some decent performances, some were like pretty okay, some were pretty good as well. A lot of those performances, I actually didn't mind it. There were some that were just like, same old, same old. But I don't even want to get to the performances. What really got to me was the winners, the nominations, and I know that's probably like the least meaningful when it comes to awards. So like, no one really cares about who wins an award, and it's kind of sad because it's like you should be happy to say that, oh, I'm the top R&B, I'm the top pop artist, the top like female artist, top male artist. That's kind of sad. But what caught my eye was the winners specifically for specific categories. Now, I'm going to use 3 case studies, and basically what I want to talk about is just how artists are labeled by genres. Sometimes when we look at an artist, we're like, oh, this person is a what artist. When we look at her, she's an R&B artist. When you look at Justin Bieber, he's a pop artist. When you look at Drake, he's a rap artist. You look at that. right? We kind of know that, based on their style of music, how they present themselves through their songs, through their discography. You see that. But then there's times where you start to question the levels, or I guess the categories one artist can fall into. Because sometimes you're thinking like, oh, at one time they're an R&B artist, but another time they're a pop artist, or but another time they're a rap artist. So like you're kind of confused. What are they overall? Are they just an artist, or are they just this and that? And that it makes it hard, especially when you get to like conversations around nominations and winners. So looking at the first case study, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift, I believe, won, I don't know how much Billboard Awards she won that night, but I know she won two in the country category. Now, unless this is 2008 or 2009, Taylor Swift don't do that no more. She don't do that no more. So someone explained to me how Taylor Swift, T Swift, for the Swifties, is that what they're calling it? All the Swifties listening? How is she winning two country awards? Or two Billboard Awards in the country category, if I want to be specific, excuse me. How's that happening? Now, one of the nominations, I believe, was for her album Red. And again, I don't remember albums all the time, but I knew, I'm like, wait a minute. Didn't Red drop a decade ago? And when you go to search on Apple Music, it did. 2012. She actually rewritten it, and she did her own version. And by the way, like when you go to the Taylor version, the new one, 64 tracks, over 4 hours long, and I'm just like, why? Why? What's the purpose of that? What is the purpose of that? Like, bro, could you imagine going in the booth and say, you know what? I'm gonna do a song for this. I'm gonna add like videos for every song that I've written. I'm gonna add an acoustic version to the song I just written for the video. It's like, bro, overkill. You're killing yourself. Like, what are you doing, right? So this 4 hour basically opera in a sense wins top country album. And I don't listen to country music, but I'm like, is this some type of sick joke? Are you serious? You're giving it to her? To her. So then, I'm starting to question myself, since when did Taylor Swift become a country artist again? Why? Because the album was technically, at that time period. First of all, when she dropped Red, she was still a pop artist. She was still singing like 22 and everything. I don't even know what the track listing was, but you know what I'm saying. She was not a country artist at the time in 2012. She was long past that. Are you kidding me? So, what are we doing? Is she a country artist because she's done country way back in the past? Is she a pop artist? I don't get it. So, I can't explain it. So that's example number one. Example number two, and honestly, this might get y'all mad, but I don't care. Actually, you know what? Let me not say that. Let me say that. Let me tone down. I think I'm just getting heated, guys. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't care. I just have a different take. I have a different take on it. Okay. You may think that this is nothing's wrong, personally. I just think that we should talk about it. Example number two, Kanye West. Now, Kanye West mostly won in the Christian and gospel category. Please, if anyone can answer me this or challenge me this, please do so. When did Kanye West become a Christian or gospel artist? I'll wait. If you need me to repeat the question again, I can do that. When did Kanye West become a Christian and gospel artist? Because it seems like Billboard had the right to not only have him win, but I think in two categories, his name was basically plastered everywhere. I think he won what? Five categories in combination with Christian gospel with Donda. When was Donda ever a Christian album? When was Donda ever a gospel album? What? Because he says Jesus? Because he's got tracks like Jesus the Lord, and all of a sudden you're telling me that he's worthy to be in that category? So is it a thing that rappers can say God or like God fear my enemies and stuff like that? They're a Christian now. They worship the Holy Spirit. See, guys, these are the pieces that I can't put together because honestly, I am asking these questions in like just wondering, like genuinely, I'm asking like, what's the reason? You have other people there, and again, I don't have the track list in front of me. I don't have not the track list, excuse me. I don't have the nominations in front of me. And heck, I don't even have the track list. If we're just gonna speak on track list, I don't have both of them in front of me. But I don't need to know that Kanye West, this man, could drop 5 straight Christian albums. He's not a Christian artist. He's not a gospel artist. He's not. And personally, is that a bad thing? So first off, in that sense, all those people in that category got robbed. They got robbed. They completely just robbed. And I find that so sad. I find that so sad. That's Kanye West. Again, you may say, oh, nobody deserves it. All I'm saying, show me a time on that album where the man was really trying to like preach. When he was really trying to get to the word. Because I'm pretty sure tracks like Off the Grid don't speak like that. I'm pretty sure tracks like Hurricane, I'm pretty sure tracks like Jail, all that, I'm pretty sure they don't speak like that. I'm sorry, someone's messaging me, so like, I'm gonna have to get back to them soon. Example number 3, which I thought was hilarious. Doja Cat. Now, there was a conversation around this it might have been a couple weeks, a couple months ago, maybe last month. And people were making an argument on Twitter about, oh, Doja Cat, she's an R&B artist, and she's a pop artist. Like, people wanted to know. Now, look, I will say this. I know Doja Cat used to do R&B. If you go way back before she started popping, before Hot Pink, or I like to call Hot Garbage with that album she dropped, before Planet Her, she was doing R&B in a sense. So I get it. There are some roots to it. But over the years, and this might sound like I'm contradicting what I said with Kanye, but no, I'm not, because I feel like she made that choice on her own. I feel like how the music changed, it speaks for itself. She transitioned more into that pop sound. She did. Yes, there may be some tracks that sound like it would be in the R&B category, but to me personally, I feel like with her music and the audience, I think that really speaks a lot. The audience that it caters to, it does not value to me as R&B music. Now, it's not a diss, because I think if Doja really put her mind to it, she could do R&B. But she is a pop artist first to me. I feel like she's like has different layers. I feel like it's pop and then R&B next, and then whatever you can put third, if she has a third. So she was winning a lot of the R&B categories. I think she won top R&B female artist as well. She won, I think, top R&B album. And you had albums with the likes of Giveon, When It's All Said and Done, Take Time. You had Silk Sonic. You had The Weeknd. You had Summer Walker. It was so bad that Summer Walker literally went to Instagram to say, damn, like, shit, I gotta work better. I gotta work harder because, I mean, congrats to Doja Cat, but if she's winning it, then I feel like she was kind of taking shots in a way like, bro, how the heck is she winning this award? When has she ever been R&B? And that's the thing. A lot of people will still argue like, oh, she makes tracks for R&B. Well, someone can make tracks for R&B, but not always it means that, oh, that's their category. Again, they could be just like a fusion of different genres, of different styles. To me, I think it's pop first. And if you guys don't believe it, then maybe you're not realizing that. So again, when Doja Cat was winning all those awards in R&B, I was so confused. And again, it goes back to the conversation of what is it? Like, we always say that, oh, this artist is this genre. We always say that they're going to do this and that. But at the same time, they start to switch up, and then we start questioning, what do they do? Like, wait, what genre are they doing? So now the question I want to ask is, does it really matter at this point? Because no, honestly, it doesn't matter. Because I feel like anyone could do anything, and then based on what society, based on what the fans think, they're gonna be the ones to judge and say, "Oh yeah, that's what they are." No, to be honest, I feel like us fans, we play a role in how we want to label these artists. When I saw Tyler the Creator winning Best Rap Album at the Grammys, people are probably saying, "Oh yeah, because he's a rap artist." But in terms of the rap album itself, whether it was Igor, Call Me You Get Lost, they weren't rap specifically. I didn't feel like it carried that rap sound to an extent. And better yet, I'm like, you could have made that album of the year just to make it a little bit more easier and you're not, conflicting the two or conflicting with other nominees. That's just me. I know people are gonna hate the name about to say right now, but Tory Lanez. I know Tory Lanez does rap, but I feel like he's more of a melodic rapper who can do more R&B on the side. And you can tell, like some of the songs he's done, the Chicks tapes and everything, it kind of caters to him more. So I feel like with this, we as the fan base may have to do a better job not trying to like heckle people on like, oh, this artist is only this, right? Because again, people can venture, but also I feel like people should have an understanding about like, you know what? Maybe I really need to pay attention to the sound, to the discography, to what they're dropping, how the material is, their cadence and everything. Just a deeper aspect. And if you do want to take it that serious, just listen. Just truly listen and use like a right perspective. To me, again, I don't think Doja Cat is an R&B artist. Maybe she starts making tracks that sound more like it and she shows that level of consistency, then yeah, maybe she can transition back to that. To me, Kanye West will never be a Christian artist. Kanye West will never be a gospel artist. He is a rap artist. Always. Taylor Swift may have done country before, but it doesn't mean she's a country artist now. She's a pop artist. She transitioned out of country. Now she's in pop. So I think there needs to be better. And just overall, I was looking over the nominees. The nominees list, it may have been the worst I've ever seen. Like seriously, I think Olivia Rodrigo was winning so much categories. I was like, what? And like they have it so weird too. Like the categories they have like top songs, top albums, top awards, this and that. And like it was just so mixed up. Like these awards of like top streaming sales artists. Why does that matter? Why would I care about that? But billboards, if that's your gain, cool. It's not really my gain like that. And then we finally get to the last portion of this conversation. I'm gonna try to make it quick. The Junos. Now, unfortunately, I did not get to watch this either, but I gotta give a special shout out to a couple of people. So, shout out to Haviah Mighty. Shout out to Zenesoul. Shout out to anyone who was in Toronto, the Jane Finch community, anyone who was there at the award show doing their thing. You guys are killing it, and just so glad that you guys have a big enough platform like the Junos to showcase your talent because you guys deserved it. You guys are phenomenal, and I can't wait to see you guys on bigger stages outside of the Junos. It's gonna be again the Billboard, the Grammys. I mean, again, the Grammys is a little controversial, but I mean, hopefully they fix things. But the Junos, it was a good night. I looked at some of the performances. I did check out Haviah Mighty's performance as well. It was really good, super clean, super powerful. And shout out to Haviah Mighty as well for winning Rap Album of the Year, the first black female artist to do it so. Come on now. Hey, that's round of applause right there. Round of applause. So definitely a huge achievement. Zenesoul, she also performed. I don't think it was the actual show, but I think it was another Juno event that was happening as well. I did see some people from Rise as well, which was pretty dope. So again, just the love of the community, just going out to support. It's great to see. And obviously for anyone who's listening to this and you don't know what the Junos are, it's basically like the Canadian Grammys in a way. That it's our Grammys, it's for us, right? And I know I can already hear people just saying, "Oh, the Canada's whack and the music's garbage." Da, 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 da. Listen, probably from mainstream, you're right. Probably from mainstream because again, I will say there's not enough big mainstream stars, but I think people really underestimate the talent that resides like here in Toronto in the community, whether it's like on Jane and Finch, outside of Jane and Finch, in other areas in Mississauga, Brampton, Scarborough, Rexdale, anywhere, Ajax. Like, I think people underestimate that because we got some talented people. We truly do. I wish I could list all the names here, but again, shout out to those that were there at the Junos, killing it, showing that we are legit. We are legit. And listen, the 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 future of music is bright. So big gratitude for those people. But yeah, that's about it. Really don't have that much to say. Again, I can't wait to see maybe there's someone else that I know that gets a Juno. Maybe a Nathan. Nathan, shout out to you. Maybe Kibra. I know she's about to drop an album soon, so who knows? Maybe a Tommy, Dolo the Gifted. Like who knows? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But who knows what the future holds for these amazing and phenomenal artists. But that's about it, guys. I'm about to sign out. It's almost midnight. Um, Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Again, if you're new, we're just getting started here. I got a good lineup of guests coming up soon, so I can't wait to drop those episodes for you guys. I've been doing some things to the website again, www.saferoompodcast.com. Keep that in mind. I'm still going through some changes. I'm trying to, spice it up, add some new stuff to it. I might be doing some new things as well, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. You can follow me on Instagram at the Safe Room Official. You can follow me on Twitter at the Safe Room Pod. I'm gonna be doing more open spaces as well for Twitter, the Twitter Spaces, and I might have a special guest that's gonna be Common as well, or I guess like a colleague or a co-host as well. Just we'll try to work out the pieces, but you'll probably know very soon. And outside of the Safe Room, my second podcast, Court Advantage, my boy Kevin and I, we will be doing a live stream. Now, if you don't know about wrestling, then probably this ain't for you. But if you do, then we're gonna be doing a live stream for not a WWE pay-per-view, but an AEW pay-per-view. So All Elite Wrestling, they're having their pay-per-view Double or Nothing on May 29th at 8 p.m. We'll be going on live right here on Riverside. I'm still getting used to Riverside, guys, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. So very excited. But we're gonna be going live May 29th at 8, so don't miss that. We're also gonna be having a Jeopardy event just a couple hours ahead at 6 on the same day. So make sure you tune in for that. We'll be making posts. Follow us on Court.Advantage if you want to know more. But that's about it, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoy, I guess, the rest of your evening as I'm recording it. Like I said, it's almost midnight. So, but if you're listening to it, whether you're enjoying the rest of your day, your night, your evening, wherever you are, thank you again for the support. Thank you for so much love. And again, I got a lot of big things coming, and I can't wait to show you guys and just continue to ride. So, again, be your boy. I'll see you guys next time.